Thank you.
Now over to John.
We've got a special musician joining us this morning. Christian rock star Stephen Curtis Chapman is here to talk about his new album, Deep Roots. So, Stephen, first of all, thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate it.
Absolutely. Good to be with you.
Well, why don't you tell us a little about the idea behind Deep Roots and what led you to produce this brand new album?
All right. Well, I would love to. I grew up in a little town called Paducah, Kentucky. And the earliest music I remember hearing as a kid was bluegrass and folk music. My dad is a great musician, played music with his buddies on the weekends, had a little group called the Village Singers, and they'd play folk music. And so banjos and upright bass and acoustic guitar and the fiddle and the mandolin, those were the instruments that kind of defined what music sounded like from my earliest days and earliest memories. So that has been woven through my music all these years. You know, I sneak a banjo in or a fiddle or a mandolin in. But I say sneak in because, you know, the style of music, those that know my music would know it falls in the genre of contemporary Christian music or gospel music. But I've always wanted to make a record, an album of just the music that kind of represents what I grew up with, and folk and bluegrass music. So Cracker Barrel came along and said, hey, what do you think about doing an album of hymns, which again, I'm talking about my roots. I mean, the music that I grew up with as a kid, so much of it was literally sitting around the kitchen table with my dad and my brother and my mom, playing guitar, singing four-part harmony of hymns, taking the hymnal and let's sing this one, and we'd sing it and then we'd sing together in church. So a chance for me to put all of that together was something that I jumped at when the wonderful people at Cracker Barrel came to me and said, hey, what do you think about this? We'd love to do something with you, do a project together. What do you think about a hymns? Maybe some of you, I included some of my songs that I've recorded over the last 25 years, some songs from my earlier albums. I've made, 15, 16, 17, I've kind of lost count now, the number of albums that I've made. But so it's pretty exciting at this point in my life to get to kind of make a record that I've really wanted to make all those years and just finally had the opportunity to do it.
And Stephen, I understand that you got 3 generations on this album. Your son and your father actually appear on it as well?
Yeah, which again, one of the dreams come true for me. I've said for years, in fact, it was several years ago, maybe 20 years ago almost now, that my dad, I did get him to come and my brother to sing on one song on a Christmas album. And ever since then, I've said someday I'd love to do a song that really kind of honors the music that my dad, that I played with my dad at the earliest age, and include my dad and my brother, maybe get them to sing with me. My grandmother passed away this past year, 98 years old, and my dad's mom. And so we sang together at her funeral, and we gathered around and we sang some of the songs that are on this album. And people were coming up afterwards and said, would you please record that? One of these days, will you please record that sound of the 3 of you guys together? So I'd already been thinking about it, dreaming of it. So shortly after that, we did get in the studio, and I got to get my dad singing with me and my brother singing some of the songs we grew up singing together around that kitchen table and in that little Baptist church in Paducah, Kentucky. And my son, Caleb, who is a gifted artist as well and musician, has his own band, and with my other son, Will Franklin, who's a great drummer. I wanted Caleb to come sing with me as well, so he came in and sang on a song that I recorded several years ago on an album, Be Still and Know, which I wrote that song. Interesting fact, I was sitting by my son on an airplane flying to South Africa 15 years ago when my son was just maybe 10 years old, 8 or 9 years old, and so it was pretty amazing to get, full circle again, to get to go in the studio and sing this song with my son now that he's grown and has this great gift of his own of music. And also my daughter-in-law, the beautiful lady who just married my other son, Will, sang with me on this. And then my bluegrass big brother, as I love to call him, Ricky Skaggs, sang with me as well. So it was a really, on so many levels, it's a dream come true.
It absolutely is. Stephen, thank you so much. You can get the album at any Cracker Barrel on iTunes or at Amazon.com. Thanks for your time, sir.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Stay tuned. We'll be right back after this.